Today we're going to talk about seconds, thirds, sixths, and sevenths. So when we learned the octaves, fourths, and fifths, our options were perfect, diminished, and augmented. For these intervals, our options are major and minor. Technically, there are also augmented and diminished seconds, thirds, sixths, and sevenths, but we're not going to deal with them today. They don't come up very often, at least not for us in middle school. And when they do come up, when we learn about seventh chords, I will just teach it to you at that point. It'll be a lot easier than confusing you with lots and lots of information now. So let's stick to major and minor. Major seconds, thirds, sixths, and sevenths. We're dealing with do as the bottom note of our interval. We're pretending that that is do even if it's not in that place in the song that we're finding the interval. 2, 3, 6, and 7. They can be major or minor. In order for them to be major, the top note of the interval must be a normal part of the major scale of the bottom note. So when we were doing octaves, fourths, and fifths, when the accidental matched, we called it perfect, and now we're calling it major. Here we go, our first example. Let's figure out the size of the interval. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a sixth, built on F sharp. So here's our F sharp scale. Let's go to the sixth scale degree, because this is the sixth scale degree. Here it is. It should be a D sharp. If this is a D sharp, we have a major sixth, and it is a D sharp. So this is a major sixth. The abbreviation is the capital letter M6. Example 2. Let's figure out the size. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is a seventh. Let's look at our E flat scale. Our seventh scale degree is D natural. This is D natural. So we have a major seventh. Here we have a second. 1, 2. Let's look at our B scale. Second scale degree should be C sharp. It is C sharp. We call it major. G flat on the bottom, we have a third. 1, 2, 3. Third scale degree should be B flat, and it is B flat. Major third. Now we have a sixth again, and it's built on F. Sixth scale degree should be D natural. D natural. There's an actual natural sign here, and there's not here, but it means the same thing. Major sixth. Here are the minor seconds, thirds, sixths, and sevenths. In a minor interval of these sizes, the top note is a half step lower than it is in the bottom note's major scale. So the note name is the same, but the accidental has made it a half step lower. So our F sharp scale is here. To make a major sixth, we need D sharp. We have D natural, or if we had D and nothing. A natural is a half step lower than a sharp. So we have a minor sixth. We use a lowercase m for the abbreviation. Minor intervals are smaller, so our letter is smaller. You can think of it that way. E flat on the bottom, we have a seventh. Now let's look at what type of seventh. Here's our E flat scale. Seventh scale degree should be D natural. We have D flat, so that's a half step lower than this. So we have a minor seventh. Here's our second, 1, 2. A B scale, our second scale degree should be C sharp. We have C natural. A natural is a half step lower than a sharp. That means a minor second. Here's a third, G flat scale. Third scale degree should be B flat. We have B double flat. A double flat is a half step lower than a flat. That makes a minor third. We have a sixth. Sixth scale degree is D natural. We have D flat. That's a half step lower than the natural. That means a minor sixth. Here is your step-by-step of how to identify seconds, thirds, sixths, and sevenths. First, determine the size of the interval. 2, 3, 6, or 7. Then you're going to name the bottom note of the interval. Then you're going to visualize or draw, probably for most of you, you will want to actually draw it out, the major scale of the bottom note you found in step 2. You want to be looking at the scale so you can tell what accidentals you need. Then you're going to look at the scale degree that corresponds to the top note of your interval. So if your interval is a second, you're looking at the second scale degree. If your interval is a third, you're looking at the third scale degree. If your interval is a sixth, you're looking at the sixth scale degree on the scale. If you have a seventh, you're looking at the seventh scale degree of your scale. You're looking at what is the accidental next to that note. Then you're going to look back at your interval. What's the accidental next to the top note of your interval? If the accidental of the top note of your interval is the same as it is in the scale, your interval is major. If the top note of your interval is a half step lower than it is in the major scale, because the accidental is different, lower by a half step, then your interval is minor. That is it.